Motorbike YouTube peoples, this is my VFR 750 and I am going to show you a starter clutch gear assembly replacement, or some of it anyways. This bike I bought with a bad regulator rectifier and a bad starter clutch, and I still paid too much for it because it's super low case and it's in super clean shape. I just popped my new tank bag on. That's a Moto-centric. I did a review on that. It's a pretty neat tank bag. And then I just installed my RAM mount for my phone, which is going to be neato. But the problem is in this case, primary cover. This right here, this is your clutch, and behind this, of course, is the starter clutch. And then the oil drive is right next to it. So when you take this off, it's a bunch of bolts all the way around the perimeter of the VFR after you pull the fairings off, and you'll see that it is right behind this outcut here. And I will show you what that looks like. It's my super sexy track jacket, which is hilarious because I don't go to the track, I just ride aggressively. So you got to have a sport hump on the back. It's just the only way to go. So here is the OEM part number of such. I don't know, you probably can't see that, whatever, but this is the Honda part. Out of it comes the starter clutch gear. Now let me show you what a old one looks like so you kind of have an idea, those of you who are troubleshooting. When I opened up my case, behind that second cover that I was pointing to on the right side, towards the front of the bike, I noticed there was a split here in the perimeter of this casing. Now if you look, there's another split right there, and one directly below. This was almost matched up perfectly, you know, in a triangle form. So I thought, wow, maybe these are expansion rings. They're slits. They're designed to expand out. I didn't understand how this worked until I removed the outer cover plate, put it aside, and you can see it's split all the way through. It's cracked. This is a weak part in the casting in my opinion because it's pretty thin here, and I reckon it sees a bunch of vibration over the years. So this is what you're going to see, and these are the rollers that are spring actuated here. So you'll need to remove all of those, which I've done here in this instance. But that is what you're looking for. You're looking for cracks here, and that will cause your bike to do half a revolution and then spin. So you'll just kind of go kind of like you'll hear the starter disengage. It'll try and spin for a second and then it won't start, and you got to do it over and over and over again 1,000 times to get the bike to start, which I don't recommend doing. So to replace this, it's quite simple. You remove that cover plate, the primary cover plate, and you'll see all of this mounted up like so. You remove the large center bolt, which I have in my baggie here, and you remove these gold, I guess they're grade 8 bolts from the outside afterwards. Those are something you have to reinstall with Loctite, the 3 bolts, not the center bolt. And you'll have to put all this back together. Now, one of the things I ordered, and I'll show you over here with the new parts, I ordered, obviously, the new starter clutch. That's what this is. Don't let someone try and sell you a primary gear. A lot of these Honda guys, they don't, at the parts counter, they don't know what these are, but this is a starter clutch, officially. I ordered new springs because, you know, these springs have seen some wear pushing this back and forth as a flyweight system. So you get yourself 3 new springs. They're called red springs. Here's a part number, I guess that's good for you to see. And I ordered a new roll pin. Now the roll pin thing, it's a 97-cent part or something like that. It's not a big deal. And you know, just assume order a new roll pin, then try and bang this out and deform it, and then try and reinstall it in the new starter clutch. So I went ahead and got a new roll pin, and that's that. Roll pin, spring, 3 springs, and the last thing you should order, in my opinion, is 3 rollers. These rollers do see a little bit of wear. If you look at the back here, it's kind of hard to see, but you can almost see an indentation from where the metal's worn, popping in and out. You can kind of see that there's dual rings, and that's where the metal's actually worn into the back plate of this starter clutch. So with this back surface being new, I just assume replace the rollers and have all new contact surfaces so there's no play and tolerance issues. Japanese motorcycles are super particular and they require very fine tolerances. This is not a Harley, so stuff like this, in my opinion, very important. These bikes are very sensitive. They're sensitive ponytail bikes. So anyway, you order 3 of those. and you should have everything you need there to reassemble Johnny 5. What in the hell is this? I cut off these grips. They were 12 years old. So the story, the legend has it with my bike, it had been sitting for 12 years. I found it for sale locally in Seattle, and it had been sitting for 12 years in basically a guy's shed, and he rode it once a year for 12 years, every summer. So the damn thing had, old clutch fluid and brake fluid in it. All the hydraulic fluid was kind of murking out on me. Grips are hard as a rock, obviously. Had those mechanical issues. Oil was, brand new, but it had been sitting for 12 years, basically. What else? The chain was pretty grody and, dry. So I went through and cleaned the chain and tightened it up. Did some tensioning. Washed the bike, and it runs like a champion. Couldn't believe it didn't need a carb clean. These bikes are something else. They're wonderful bikes. They were well designed. They're probably one of my favorite motorbikes in the series of fire-breathing motorcycles. And I'll get more into that in other vlogs. But these things are wonderful bikes. I really love the torquey V4 motor. I really love the appearance of the bike. It has that old school classic Japanese dual headlight look to it, which, when you get the bike at a certain angle with the pillon on the back, it looks, the racing cowl, it looks really cool. Great brakes on these things, nice wheels, single-sided swing arm, about 100 horse, 156 miles per hour is the top speed on these VFRs, and they're great little touring bikes too. Mine just happens to have a Two Brothers can, which is awesome, and it's in very good shape, and a set of Healy bars for me because I'm a sport touring guy. I'm a very aggressive rider in the turns, but I like to be comfortable when I get there. So, yeah, super neat bike. You'll see more from me. Anyway, I hope that helps some of you guys when you're doing your starter clutch. Cheers!